Hello students, how are you all? So let's start with today's biology class of class 12. Yesterday we have started with lesson 3, human reproduction, and I have given you introduction of the chapter. And also we have started with the male reproductive system. So let's see now the detail of the male reproductive system, its parts and functions of the various parts. So as we have seen yesterday, the diagram was that I show you, that was actually of the proper front view of the male reproductive system. Now we will take up one by one each part. So first is the testis. Testis is a primary sex organ. Why it is called primary sex organ? Because it produces male gametes, that is sperms. As I already told you that testes produce male gametes and male sex hormones. That is why it is called primary sex organ of human male. There is a pair of testes that are suspended in the pouch of deeply segmented skin called scrotum. Now the testes are present in pair. In the yesterday's diagram, I have drawn two testes because they are present in pair. But an important feature is that testes are not present inside the body of male. They are present outside the body in the pouch called, which is a deeply segmented skin called scrotum. Why is that so? Why testes are present outside the body in the scrotum? Because it is very important point. बोर्ड में भी इसमें बहुत बोर्ड एग्जाम में भी इस पे क्वेश्चन आता है कि why the testes are descendant into the scrotum. Means when the embryo development takes place, the male embryo development takes place, testes are present inside the body, but later on at the 7th month of development they will descend into the scrotum, because the temperature inside the scrotum is 2 to 2.5 degree less than normal body temperature. So here you can see the temperature inside the scrotum is 2 to 2.5 degree less than normal body temperature, which is required for sperm formation, because you know that the main function of testis is to produce sperms, and that will be only produced when it will get a proper temperature, that is 2 to 2.5 degrees less than normal body temperature. Like you know, the normal body temperature is around 37 degrees. So it requires 35 to 35.5 degrees temperature, which is not provided inside the body. That is why they are present in the scrotum. Okay, is it clear? Then only they will be able to form sperms. Now let us see the detailed structure of testes. So here you can see I have shown here LS of a mammalian testis. This is an LS of a mammalian testis. LS means longitudinal section. So these are the structures which are present in the testes: protective coverings, testicular lobules, seminiferous tubules, retitestis, vasa efferentia, epididymis and vasa differentia. So these are the coverings through which the testes are covered, and all others, these four parts you can see inside the inside structure of the testes, and these are the accessory parts which will help the sperms to transfer towards the ejaculatory organ, that is external genitalia, that is penis. So if you will see the structure here, this darkened line I have shown here is the testis, and it is covered with the protective coverings which are called tunicae. These are the protective coverings. This is tunica. Actually there are 3 layers, one more is there. So these 3 are the tunicae which will protect the sperm, which will protect the testes from any kind of from any kind of injury. So they will act like a protective, like sheath or cushion around the testes to protect them from any kind of injury. Next is the testicular lobules. Now if you will see the inner structure of the testes, inside the testes there are small compartments you can see. These compartments are called testicular lobules. So these compartments are called testicular lobules. So here you can see the testicular lobules. Now these testicular lobules, why are they present like this? Because they have a specific structure called seminiferous tubules in it. You can see here the coiled structures present inside the testicular lobules. So there are around 250 testicular lobules present in one testis, and each testicular lobule will carry 1 to 3 coiled tubules called seminiferous tubules. So what is the function of these seminiferous tubules? They play a very important role. We will discuss in detail the structure of a seminiferous tubule, the TS of a seminiferous tubules, because it contains important cells, that is germ cells and interstitial or Leydig cells, which will help the testes to produce sperms and male sex hormone. So we will discuss in detail this structure. The next one is retitestes. So here you can see the seminiferous tubules, they are coming out from each testicular lobule. They will form a network like structure here. Together they will form this portion, you can see this portion is called retitestes. Retitestes will help these seminiferous tubules to connect with the vas deferens or epididymis. Let's see now. So is it clear? This network like structures which is formed by coming all the seminiferous tubules together is called retitestes. Now next one is vasa efferentia. From the retitestes, you can see here these tubule like structures coming from the network of retitestes is called vasa efferentia. This is called vasa efferentia. Now these all vasa efferentia, they will be connected with each other in the structure called epididymis. This is called epididymis. So epididymis will help to store the sperms. When the sperms are coming from the seminiferous tubule, they will be stored in epididymis for a while till they are released from the vasa deferentia. So is it clear? Now from retitestes, this structure arises, tube like structures called vasa efferentia, which together will be collected into this structure called epididymis. Now from the epididymis, you can see here this structure is arising. Now this portion is epididymis, and from this tubule like structure is arising, which is called vasa deferentia. In this portion of epididymis, the sperms will be collected. And vasa deferentia has an important role because it will carry the sperms towards, like this is the urinary bladder, this will be the urinary bladder here, yesterday's diagram that we have drawn. So the vasa deferentia will carry the sperm from testes towards the urinary bladder, where it will be continuing with the duct which is called ejaculatory duct, which collects all the secretions from the accessory ducts, from the accessory glands. As I told you, there are accessory ducts along with the accessory glands. So all these are the accessory ducts which will help in the transfer of the sperms. Now they will collect the secretions from the accessory glands so that the semen will be produced, which is a nourishing fluid to provide nourishment to the sperms. So is it clear? Now later we will take up the I will show you the ejaculatory duct as well as the accessory ducts, accessory glands, and the detailed structure of seminiferous tubules. Now is it clear? The outer portion, this is the testis, this covering is the tunica which will protect the testis from any injury. These compartments are called testicular lobules. Inside the testicular lobules, these structures, coiled structures, are called seminiferous tubules. And from the seminiferous tubules, this network like structure arises, which is called retitestes. From the retitestes, the tubules are arising, which are called these vasa efferentia. From vasa efferentia, they will collect it together in the structure called epididymis, and from the epididymis this duct arises which is called vasa differentia, which will carry the sperms towards the urinary duct, so that ejaculatory duct, so that the secretions from the accessory glands can be collected. Now let us see the detailed structure of seminiferous tubules. Okay, let us now see the TS of seminiferous tubule. That will make you more clear what is their function. So if you will see this is the TS of a seminiferous tubule, and these all are the seminiferous tubules. Actually this is the TS of the testis showing the seminiferous tubule. So these all are the seminiferous tubules, and inside this, the outer layer, this outer layer is covered with the epithelium as usual, but this epithelium is called germinal epithelium, because the cells of germinal epithelium will act as myocytes. Do you remember myocytes? Myocytes का क्या function होता था? They undergo meiosis to form sex cells or gametes. So they act as myocytes to form gametes or sperms. So you can see here, this is the germinal epithelium, and in between the germinal epithelium, these elongated rod-like cells are present, which are called Sertoli cells. They are called Sertoli cells. So germ cells, they are from germinal epithelium. They will produce sperms by gametogenesis. We will take up the step later in detail. Sertoli cells, they are also called as nurse cells, because they will provide nourishment to the growing sperms. Till, as I told you, sperms require nourishment because they are very delicate cells. So till they will reach the vasa differentia, because the vasa differentia will carry them to the ejaculatory duct which receive the secretions from accessory glands, till then the sperms will get nourishment from Sertoli cells. Next is the Leydig cells or interstitial cell. Let me first finish this. So this is the TS, in which this structure is lined with the germinal epithelium. Now this germinal epithelium will undergo spermatogenesis, and these cells which I have shown here are the various stages of spermatogenesis. When we will discuss in detail, then you will be more clear. So these all are the various stages of spermatogenesis, or spermatids they are also called. Then in the center you can see, after following this process of spermatogenesis, the sperms will be formed. In the center you can see here, these are the sperms, and these cells in between are called spermatogonia. So these sperms are, their heads are always towards the Sertoli cells, so that they can get nourishment from the Sertoli cells. And in the space here you can see these cells are also present. These cells are called Leydig cells. They are called Leydig cells or interstitial cells. So these cells will produce male sex hormones, because as I told you, testes perform two functions. One is to produce male gametes and second is to produce male sex hormone. So the seminiferous tubule will secrete the sperms, and the area outside the seminiferous tubule has the Leydig cells which will secrete the male sex hormone. So is it clear the function of seminiferous tubule? They will help. This diagram is also given in your NCERT book, so you can also draw it in your notebook. Let's now see the ejaculatory ducts and the accessory glands. How do they work? Like in the previous session we have discussed that the vasa deferens will carry the sperms from testes towards the ejaculatory duct. So here we will see, this is the front view of the male reproductive system that we have discussed yesterday also. Now we will see here from the vasa deferens. These are the testes and this is the epididymis. From epididymis the sperms will enter into vasa deferens. So this vasa deferens on both the sides will carry the sperms and will reach, after crossing the urinary bladder, it will reach to the ducts which are called ejaculatory duct. So this common duct which is coming from both the sides towards the vasa deferens is called ejaculatory duct. Now this ejaculatory duct will collect the secretions from all the three accessory glands, because we know there are three accessory glands in male reproductive system: seminal vesicle, prostate gland and bulbourethral gland. Bulbourethral gland is also called as Cowper's gland. All the three glands are present in pair. So here you can see the upper one is the seminal vesicle, lower to seminal vesicle is the prostate gland, and the third one is the bulbourethral gland. All the three glands will release their secretion into the ejaculatory ducts, and then they will form, both ejaculatory ducts will form a common passage for the release of sperms outside the body through penis. And this common passage is called urinogenital tract or urethra, because in male reproductive system there is a common passage for the passage of urine as well as sperms. Now what is the role of these three accessory ducts? These three accessory ducts will together secrete a secretion which is called semen. This semen is a milky secretion. It has a pH of around 6.5, which is a favorable pH for the survival of sperms, and its function is to provide nourishment and it will activate the sperms. So the sperms will be activated only when they are present in the semen, because they have to swim, they are cells with the tail, so they have to swim, that will be taken place inside the semen. So is it clear? The three glands will secrete a secretion called semen, which will activate and nourish the sperms. Now let's see the structure of the external genitalia that will help to release the sperms in the female reproductive tract. So let's now see the external genitalia of the male reproductive system, which is called penis. So here you can see the structure of the penis. It will help to release the, it will help in the insemination, that is release of sperms into the female reproductive tract. So the penis, the end of the penis is with a extended skin, which is called glans penis. So it is a tubular structure, but at the tip it has extended skin which is called glans penis, which is covered with a loose skin called foreskin. Okay, so the end part of the penis is called glans penis, and the skin by which it is covered is called foreskin. Now the common genital tract which is passing through the penis is called urinogenital tract, because it is for the passage of urine as well as for the sperms. It will open outside the body through this opening called urethral orifice. This opening is called urethral orifice, through which the urine as well as sperms will be released out. Now how do it works? Like in the inside of the penis is having a fibrous tissue. You can see this dotted structure. So this is a fibrous tissue. So at the time of erection, this fibrous tissue will get the the blood circulation will be increased in this area, due to which the fibrous tissue will get more amount of blood, and this will cause the erection of the penis, so that it can release the sperms in the female reproductive tract. So this is all about male reproductive system, all the parts, the functions of various parts. You can also draw the diagram of seminiferous tubule, TS of seminiferous tubule, and this front view as well as the LS of the testes in your notebook. Next we will start with the next topic, female reproductive system.